Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back again live with Don Berlyn. Excited to have him here from Flagstaff, Arizona. And the name of his company is Flagstaff Hypnotherapy. He is a hypnotherapist, really helping you use the power of your mind to make powerful, impactful changes and, of course, to help you achieve your goals. Welcome back to the show today, Don. How are you?
I'm doing great, and thank you so much, Jill.
Happy to be back in hot New York. Is it chilly in Flagstaff? Cloudy still? I think we had
It's
some
cloudy and
wildfires, you
breezy.
said, right?
Yeah, we don't have smoke right now, but we do
Good.
have some breezes, and we have clouds, and we're hoping for rain because it's so dry. And anyway, we're not as hot as you are by far.
Oh, well, thank you. We are excited that you're here talking to us today about hypnotherapy. And just for beginners, new time listeners, tell us a little about hypnotherapy and what it is you do.
Yeah, and actually, I was gonna talk about me for a moment. So how I
Of
got
course,
into
we need
yeah,
to. I want to know about you. Some
it's
people
all,
don't.
it's all about me. So anyway, yeah, so I'm from Phoenix originally and lived here in the Southwest my entire life. And I graduated from physical therapy school here in Flagstaff in 1986 and was basically an orthopedic and sports physical therapist, even owned my own clinic. And after a while, though, in the early 2000s, I started getting a bunch of people with chronic pain. And all the folks I was working with before, I would do some physical therapy, which a lot of it was hands-on, a lot of it was exercise. And these folks were focused on the future, like getting back to owning their businesses or doing their sports, whatever it was. So future focused. The chronic pain people as a group were focused on right now, and a lot of it was on the past. Every bad thing that happened in the past, no matter what was going on in their lives, it was bad. Even if they made a lot of money, they had financial issues, there were issues with families, with jobs. It was all around. It wasn't just their bodies where the pain was. And I would do my physical therapy things, and they might work for a day or two, and they'd come back and they'd be exactly where they were. So it's like a little bit of frustration. So I thought, well, how can I help these people? And I focused on pain. And so what I discovered was hypnosis, which was used for anesthesia before those chemical anesthetics. In other words, they even did surgeries just using hypnosis.
Didn't know that. All right. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And so knowing that, I did some research and found a really good school. It was in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So I went there and signed up for additional training to be a medical hypnotherapist dealing with medical and dental issues. So I came back to Flagstaff, all set to go, working with medical stuff. And my very first paying client had arachnophobia, which is a fear of spiders, actually a phobia about spiders. So I was like, oh, okay, I've had the training, I can do that. So from that point on, my practice just expanded. And these days, the medical part is maybe a tenth, it kind of goes up and down, but medical and health are actually a small part of what I do. And the other thing I discovered over time, so I've been doing this since 2007, is no matter what people come in with, is part of it, their stress and anxiety. And lots of times people are stuck in the past, going over painful issues there, or they're worried about what's going on in their lives now, or they're projecting about the future and they're worried about that. And so there's techniques that I use to help people deal with that. And typically these are kind of lumped into the idea of mindfulness. In other words, being here, being present now, focusing on the now. And and so there's a whole industry all about mindfulness, but it has a ancient past and just now it's become quite popular and it works really well. So I'll talk a little bit about the overlap between mindfulness and meditation, because
Perfect.
oftentimes people ask me about that. Also, hypnosis when it comes to being in a trance, is that like meditation? And the answer is yes, depending on the kind of meditation. So basically, meditation is being focused on something. And the focus could be on a flame, it could be on Jesus or Buddha, it could be on something like love, or it could be just having an empty mind. So it's quite varied as to what your focus is on. And so all the way from focusing on something very specific to actually focusing on, which is kind of counterintuitive, almost focusing on nothing, which is the open mind. So these can be really interesting experiences. So for mindfulness, it's a form of meditation in the sense that you're focusing on something and we're focusing on something in the moment. So what I'd like to do, Jill, is have you volunteer, seeing as you're the only volunteer in the room here,
Sure, sure,
um,
sure. At least
to
that we could see.
yeah, to experience some of this. And of
Sure,
course,
would love to
anyone watching or listening to this, yeah, please take part.
join in.
And so one of the principles is the conscious mind can only focus on one thing at a time. So if you're focused on, let's say you're in a room of people and you're focused on the conversation, you actually won't hear what's going on around you. And if you're driving and you're focusing on texting, you won't be focusing on anything else around you, which can be dangerous. So, and humans are primarily visual. So the way to have this work the best is to close your eyes and just listen and then do kind of whatever I'm suggesting that you do. So we'll start off with breathing because you always have your breath with you. One little uh, one little caveat on this. So if someone has respiratory issues, this is probably not the way to go because that person will be focusing on something that actually is stress inducing. So if you do have a breathing issue, then perhaps this wouldn't be the best thing for you. So you can just listen, you can play with it if you like, but if you find yourself being distressed, just stop. And perhaps this could something you could tell someone else to use and it would help them. Okay. So Jill, any questions before we start?
No, I'm ready to go.
Okay. So breathing is easy. No
Okay.
matter what happens, remember you're in control of your
Okay.
breath. Okay. So I'll be talking about things, but you breathe whenever you want. Because when we can't breathe, that's stressful. So um, so if anyone's taken yoga or similar things, oftentimes there's counting. And counting involves the conscious part of your mind. But it's the way most people are first introduced to the idea of focused breathing. So we'll go ahead and play with that for a moment. You can use different numbers. 4 seems to be common. So I'll be counting as you inhale, as you hold your breath a bit, and as you exhale. So I'll be talking, you breathe whenever you want, but here's how it goes. Okay, breathe in for a count of 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale to count of 4, 2, 3, 4. And repeat that pattern. Great. So what's going on here is you're focusing on numbers. The conscious mind deals with things like numbers, letters, reading, math, that type of thing. And so you're instead of going to the subconscious, which is where your body, your emotions, your memories, your senses are, you're using the part of your mind, which is the conscious, which is kind of the thinking part. And that can be okay. When you're dealing with numbers, if someone else is saying it, that's an external focus. So you're focusing on something outside of yourself and trying to follow. Even when you're counting for yourself, in a sense, it's external because you're using a pattern that's coming from the outside. So, and for a lot of people, that's all they need. They get a sense of comfort or relaxation just for doing that. And it's definitely focusing. So now go ahead and maybe open your eyes for a second, take a couple breaths. So now we're going to let go of any numbers. Now all the focus is inside. And again, you always have control of your breathing no matter what I'm saying. So this one, the focus is inside. And so go ahead and close your eyes. And the focus now is just noticing as you inhale, as you hold your breath for that little bit, and then as you exhale. Going internal, the focus is how it feels on the inside. As you inhale, as you hold your breath, as you exhale, and you breathe again whenever you like. And then focusing on a comfortable breath. So you're breathing in for as long as feels comfortable. You exhale for as long as feels comfortable. So inhaling and observing what that feels like. Sense of comfort, holding your breath for that little bit, comfortable, and then breathe it out for as long as feels comfortable. and then just repeat. And the focus is internal, just noticing your breathing. And a way to look at being an observer is you could imagine that you're standing on the edge of a stream or a river, and you're simply watching. So picturing your breath as if it's just water, maybe little waves, ripples. You're just watching it in the same way that you can watch your breath. You can feel your breath.
It's so weird, like thinking about my breathing. I never really
Uh,
think about it, right? Because
uh-huh.
I feel like, am I
Yeah.
doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? I'm like,
As long as you don't pass out, you're doing it right.
all right, good. Yeah.
So,
Thanks for that.
and so breathing is an interesting thing. So the subconscious mind runs almost all the stuff about your body. Ho- However, there's communication all the time between the subconscious and the conscious mind.
Right.
So anytime you like most people, all of us are almost 100% breathing is automatic. However, you could decide anytime you like to hold your breath, to breathe deeper. If you're training as a singer, or perhaps what you do, Jill, you learn about using your breath. So you're consciously learning a new pattern, perhaps, and then it
Right.
becomes just ingrained. You no longer have to think about it. You just do whatever you're going to do. Your breathing happens on its own with this new pattern that you learned. And so, but again, your conscious mind can talk to the subconscious anytime.
Can I go back
There's
to breathing normal now? Or am I supposed
yeah.
to
Oh,
keep thinking? I'm still trying to count the four, and I
oh
get
no,
anxiety. It
no.
gives me anxiety. We talked all about that the other day.
Yeah.
Anxiety.
Yeah, so at this point, let that 4-4 go away. You're not using
Okay.
it anymore.
All right.
Now,
Thanks.
the thing we just did, the
It's just happening
focus.
automatically. Okay, good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so now the focus was just on the inside, just noticing what's inside without any numbers. It's just as if you're watching your breath. And you're just noticing, what does it feel like to breathe in comfortably? What does it feel like to hold my breath for that little bit? And then as you exhale for as long as you like, just noticing that feeling. And then you breathe again. So in this case, you're not causing anything to happen. You're not using your conscious mind. You're simply observing what's going on inside you as it's happening, which is a mindfulness practice. Does that make sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And and so you don't actually have to do anything special. It's as if you're watching a river or a stream. You're just observing it. You can't really affect it. You're simply watching it and noticing, in this case, now your breath. You can influence that a little bit. You might play with taking a little deeper breath, only to the point of comfort, holding your breath that little bit. And again, always comfortable. And then exhaling, just noticing what that feels like as you breathe out for as long as you like. And then you always just take another breath whenever you want. So you're always in control of your breathing. It's stressful when people feel like they can't breathe or they can't breathe on their own. That's a survival thing. So your subconscious is very tuned into that. Basically, keeping us alive is the subconscious's main job. So I
Ooh,
want to do that thing we just did for a moment and then add just a little something to it. So, how's it going right now, Jill? You doing okay?
I'm doing well. I feel
Okay.
relaxed.
Okay, good. You haven't passed out yet, so we're doing good.
No, no, absolutely. Feel good.
Good. Might be getting more oxygen than usual. So, again, I'm going to have you close your eyes. And then it's the same pattern. You're just observing as the air comes in, that little pause at the top, and then noticing as you exhale. And that cycle goes on and on through your entire life. The pattern of breathing in, that little pause, you exhale. Sometimes there's a little pause, and that pattern goes on and on and on, just like waves in the ocean. We're going to add a very small piece to this. As you exhale, we're going to make it take a little longer. And for that, it's going to be as if you're blowing up the weakest balloon ever, or you're whispering into a trumpet. So just imagine that little bit extra pressure, a little bit extra resistance. And if it's not comfortable, then let it go.
working.
You like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's working. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good. Good. And so the nice thing about this is you always have your breath. You can use it wherever you want. So if you're beginning to feel stressed or lots of times people are going to the past over and over and over into memories. Oftentimes as humans, we go back to memories that are negative, painful, whatever. Or we're thinking about what might be going on in our busy day, and that can be stressful. Or we can think about the future, which is anxiety. So thinking about all things that could go wrong. You're anxious about, some people missing their flight or getting stuck in traffic or being late for work the next day. All those different things aren't actually happening right now. The only thing that's happening right now is you are where you are right now. And so everything else is an illusion in a sense. So, and if you think about the past, imagine that all memories are like books in a library, and we actually have a choice as to which book we choose. So if you go back in time, we'll do a little exercise with this either today or another time. Imagine that you've been reading the same book over and over about some very negative thing, which is of powerful memory, and kind of relive it. It turns out that when you go back to any experience, but if it's a negative one, if you check in, you'll feel your body is feeling the same way it did when it happened. You might slump over because you're depressed or sad. Your muscles might all tighten up because you were angry or perhaps ready to do fight or flight. So if you kind of notice what's going on with yourself as you're going into a memory, you could realize first off it's an illusion and let it go. And secondly, to know that you actually had a choice. So then you just decide, okay, I don't want to read this book or watch a DVD or whatever it is. So you're going to go back to the library and you're going to decide, how do I want to feel? I don't like the way I did feel. And I had this negative thing. How do I want to feel? You can go back, let's say you want to feel empowered. So then you have time books in the past where you were empowered. And it could be something as, overcoming a obstacle of some sort, maybe getting a degree or maybe doing some athletic thing. Whatever it is, you can go back and find a book that is actually the memory of that. And then you relive that memory and notice how you feel. Like if there's a really calm thing, for instance, which you might do that one, you'll just notice that your breath slows down, gets deeper, your heart rate would go down, your muscles would relax, and you would feel as if it's actually happening right now. Because your subconscious doesn't know if you're here or in the future or in the past. Just wherever you tell it you are, whatever you're focusing on, just like watching a TV show or a movie, you could feel scared even though it's just a screen with actors. Your body reacts as if it's real. So you have control over that. Lots of times we don't know that. At one point in my life, I didn't realize that I had that control. And once you have that control, you just have tremendous power. So, um, how you doing right now, Jill? You want to experience something from the past?
Okay, sure. What do I need
Okay.
to do? How do I
Okay.
do it?
Well, you're doing great. You're in your chair and you're breathing, so we're doing good. So for this one, you're always going to close your eyes, but do you, so I'm going to leave it up to you to choose an emotion, but so you mentioned you feel stressed or anxious a lot.
Hmm.
Would you like to feel more calm and relaxed?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So on this one, you're going to let the subconscious do all the work, but basically you're just going to close your eyes and just think of that feeling. Well, just that feeling of feeling just really calm and relaxed, peaceful. And then let yourself go back in time to a time when you felt that way. And just let me know when you're there.
It
Okay,
could be
good.
any time. Like
Yeah,
childhood, are
anywhere.
we going back or is
Oh,
it?
anywhere. Yeah,
Oh, it
wherever
doesn't have to be childhood. Okay, okay,
nope,
okay.
wherever your subconscious brings you. It could be 2 weeks
Well,
ago. It doesn't
well,
matter.
it was childhood. That's what I thought I
Oh,
was, but
perfect.
okay. Hmm.
Yeah, good. So are you inside or outside?
Outside.
Okay, good. And what are you sitting, lying down, walking,
Playing.
standing?
I'm on the grass in front of my old house with my best friend who lived next door.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so you're lying down and it's outside. And so if you look down to your feet, you would just notice what you'd see. Maybe you had shoes on or barefoot, just noticing whatever you could see. Maybe whatever you're lying on, you could notice the color or any patterns. You might see your friend, and then looking around further, you might notice any buildings, any trees, anything you could see, noticing colors, movements, just noticing whatever you see when you're looking around. And then looking overhead, it's daytime, so you might see a blue sky, there might be some
Mhm.
clouds, they might be still or moving. You're just noticing whatever you see when you look overhead, any colors, textures, movements. And then you notice what you hear, any sounds at all. You're lying there, it's daytime.
Birds and laughter.
Ah, great. So you're really hearing that. Many of you know because you live there what kind of birds. You might recognize who's laughing, or at least where it's coming from.
Mhm.
And then you notice what you feel. You might feel the sun on your skin. It might be humid or dry. It might be a breeze, or the air may be still. You might feel whatever you're lying on, just noticing that texture. Just totally focusing on what you feel. And then going inside, you might notice what your muscles are like. Maybe they're very relaxed. Maybe your breathing is slow. Just noticing anything you can feel inside. And then you notice your thoughts. So there you are, lying on the grass. It's daytime. You see the sky. You're hearing birds and laughter. You know how you feel. And now you check in on what you're thinking about. What thoughts are in your mind? And then you notice what you're feeling. Whatever descriptions you would give that feeling, you just notice, what does that feel like? What does it feel like in my body? And then you go beyond that, letting go of all labels, and just notice the feeling. Just notice the emotion, noticing how it feels. And then when that's nice and strong, you start breathing it in, making that feeling stronger and stronger. Feeling it in yourself right now, as if it's happening right now. Because it is, and you're breathing that feeling in. You know you can have that feeling whenever you like, because it's in the library. You decide to just go back and have that feeling again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how'd that feel?
Great. It brought me back to my happy old days of childhood with my best friend. Oh my
Great.
gosh. Yeah. I could
It's all
open
that's
now.
it's all still there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so would you like to do one more thing? Do we have time for
Sure.
that?
We have 3 minutes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
3 minutes.
I
Okay.
don't know. My eyes have been closed. How
All
much
right.
time do we have? Yes.
This
Yes.
one's a quickie, and then a
Sure.
subsequent one we can go more in detail. So
Sure.
go ahead and close your eyes, and I'll
Okay.
talk you through it really quick. So on this one, I want you to think of a negative feeling you have right now, or negative feeling you'd like to be able to let go of. You got
Got
one?
it.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
good. Tell me about the color. What color is this feeling?
Dark, black, mucky.
Ah, okay, perfect. Now let that go for a second and think of how you'd like to feel right now. Positive
Blue,
feeling. Blue,
white,
you said?
happy. Yeah.
Is that what you said? Blue?
Blue,
Okay,
blue, white, happy.
blue.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
blue and
like the
white.
sky
Okay.
colors. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
perfect. Okay, good.
Not
So now,
stormy colors. Yeah.
okay, so the ugly black color, okay, that dark color, that's going to be smoke. That's what you're going to breathe out. It's going to take the feeling with it. What you're going to breathe in is that blue and white, which is the feeling you'd like to have. So you always have your control of your breathing, but I'm going to talk. You breathe however you want. So when you breathe in, imagine you're bringing in that blue and white into your lungs, and then just like breathing out yucky smoke out into the air. It just dissipates, letting go of that negative feeling. Breathing in the way you'd like to feel, the blue and white, into your lungs. And then breathing out, the icky black, dark feeling out into the air, it just disappears. And now breathing in that blue and white and that positive feeling into your lungs. And now it's traveling throughout your body. And then leaving your body from your toes, fingers, top of your head is that dark feeling into your lungs, out into the air, it disappears. And again, the blue and white into your lungs, spreading out all the way to the ends of your toes, and your fingers, top of your head. So with each breath, you're feeling more and more the way you'd like to feel. Good. I know this was a really short one, but how'd that feel?
Amazing.
Cool. It's pretty easy,
Yeah,
right?
we need more time to do this. This is great.
Yeah.
I'm so relaxed.
Yeah. So we'll meet up in a couple of weeks, I think.
I
And
hope so.
yeah,
And continue.
provided
Thank you for teaching this.
the
Yes.
internet's helping me.
I
Yeah.
know, right? It's all good. But okay, hold on. So Don, again, you're in Flagstaff, Arizona. The name of the
Uh-huh.
company and website is?
Oh, Flagstaff Hypnotherapy, and it's flagstaffhypnotherapy.com. So it's that easy. Flagstaff
Beautiful.
Hypnotherapy and flagstaffhypnotherapy.com.
Well, thank you so much. Pleasure having you here.
Okay, so practice.
I will practice by breathing. Thank you so much.
Next week, you're going to be by the time we meet again, you'll be all calm and chill. And
Beautiful. Well, hold on. Next week, this time I'll be on vacation, so I'll probably be
Yeah,
calm
we're-
and chill anyway. Going to
Yeah, and
North
we're-
and South Carolina with my kids. So,
oh, perfect. Well, I'm bringing my almost 90-year-old mom to Hawaii tomorrow.
oh,
So
God bless. Enjoy yourself. That's
yeah,
amazing.
thanks.
What
Yeah, so
part? I've never been to Hawaii. Just curious.
actually, we're going to Maui this time, which I've never been to. But my mom's never. I've been to other places in Hawaii, but my mom has never been to Hawaii at all. So this will
Oh
be so
my,
much fun.
well, I learned from you yesterday here. You're quite the world traveler because he's lived everywhere. But
I
God
try.
bless you. Enjoy your vacation. Enjoy
Yeah,
the
and,
time with your mom. And we'll
Yeah, I'll
talk
see you in
soon,
about 2 or
Don.
3 weeks, and
All
I'll
right,
see
sounds
how
good.
it goes.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
you're welcome.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.